All right. Last week we unveiled it. We did the first week of our Purple Punishments segment, and it was a lot of fun. I think the people at the Iowa Podcast Awards where we recorded it had some fun. It was pointed out very fairly that I owe, what was it, 13 push-ups?
I think 13 is the official number.
Because we couldn't say the word Vikings last week because we both predicted a Vikings loss to the 49ers. The Wheel of Purple Punishments dictated that we had to do 10 push-ups each time we said Vikings, which was pretty funny. You blew it like 10 seconds in.
Oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing.
I waited a few minutes, but we still both did, 30, 40 push-ups each. I said Vikings twice at one point, but only on one point did 10 push-ups for one. So it was pointed out by a YouTube commenter that I still owe 10. And it was pointed out by another commenter, and maybe even me during the episode last week, that at one point I only did like 7 push-ups instead of the full 10. So I owe 13, which we will add that in maybe at the beginning of the episode, the end somewhere. You will see me do the extra 13 push-ups. I don't know why you would want to, but I'll do it. I'll own up to it.
we'll splice that in. We gotta move cameras around and stuff so that we can actually get footage of your 13 that you're making up.
So keep your eyes peeled, and that may even show up especially on like TikTok or something. But all that to say, right now it's time for Purple Punishments.
We gotta spin it again, man. We gotta do it because we both picked the Vikings to lose
against the Texans.
They won.
And
They didn't just win.
Beat the Texans. It wasn't a nail biter. It wasn't a lucky win. And we'll talk about all this here coming up. But man, they beat the Texans. And I couldn't be more happy to have to spin this wheel. We're mostly prepared for everything on the wheel. It'll be exciting. Evan, whenever you're ready, spin that wheel.
Are you sure we want to do this?
No, but I hope it's something spicy or something. I don't know.
Here we go.
Oh, I forgot about the sound effects. What's it going to say? Okay, so for our listeners, if you want to watch this whole excitement go down, check us out. You can watch it on Spotify and definitely on YouTube. And we always clip stuff out anyways, too, on YouTube and stuff. But even TikTok, you can watch the whole episode. But I digress. Our punishment this week, you can see Evan putting it on right now. We have to wear socks on our hands for the entire episode.
I got to take my watch off.
Oh, yeah. All right. But Evan, I brought some like regular, old tube socks. You got the cool Viking socks. We're definitely rocking socks in style.
Skol.
So it'll be the whole episode. So
I can't work my computer. Hang on. I need to do at least one thing here. This is not good.
Oh man, do you have a mouse or something that you can plug in? Because you might have to do that.
I might have to do that.
You usually just do the trackpad. All right, my hands are gonna get warm.
Yes.
And we're both rocking the Viking socks on our hands, and we haven't opened our beers. We haven't done anything else for this episode yet, so this will be interesting.
This is gonna be really interesting.
I'm excited to see how we open these cans.
Yeah, so we ended up with the Eagle Amber Lager from Iowa Brewing Company, based out of Cedar Rapids. Amber Lager, which is definitely something up my alley for sure. But I think
drop this can.
I think we both. We need to crack these open as best we can.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Oh no, I might have to have you help me.
But I got beer all over my thumb.
There you go.
Oh, you got it too.
Oh no! I thought my beer was going to explode there for a second. If you just tuned in, or if you're just now watching on the beer segment that we're putting out on YouTube, Purple Punishments this week. We both predicted a Vikings loss to the Texans. They won. We spun the wheel of Purple Punishments, and now we have to wear socks in our hands for episode 59 of the Skol Hop. Yeah, Evan. I almost dropped this can a couple of times before I opened it with these socks on. You're actually doing a really good pour right there.
That's a classic Austin pour, mostly head.
I'm terrified of starting it. Okay, all right.
You just gotta go for it.
Gotta go for it. Okay, this is hilarious. My kids will think this is the funniest thing ever.
I'm just gonna open another one. Yeah. I think
while we're in it,
while we're here, and then we just hopefully won't have to do this again for a while.
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna pour another can to avoid having to pour it again later.
I will say this is somewhat better. It's not way better, but somewhat better than not being able to say the word Vikings on a Vikings podcast.
That was tough. That did make for some comedy, though. If you enjoyed that, let us know.
It was also fun to do that with a live audience.
Yeah.
To kind of laugh along with us as we were doing that.
And we'll kind of recap the Iowa Podcast Awards a little bit later here. But yeah, that was entertaining. And I'm glad that my lack of physical peakness can give people some laughs. That was fun.
All right, well, let's try these beers. We should be able to at least pick up the mug. It's the can that's the tough part.
Yeah, but these socks are making things slippery.
Yes.
This has to be podcast gold right now. Okay, yeah. All right, Skol.
Skol. Good stuff. And the only unfortunate thing about it is we have to pour it with socks on our hands. But
watch this be the first beer review video that we get to go viral, and people are like, "What are you doing with the socks?
Why are you pouring a beer with socks on your hands?"
This is what we do here at the Skol Hop.
Ooh, yeah.
There it is. All right, man. That was fun. I'm looking forward to the end of this episode when we can take these socks off. But we got a whole episode to go. We just started.
My hands are already sweating.
I feel like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. They are warm.
All right. Well, the reason we spun the wheel, the reason we're wearing socks on our hands right now, Skol,
the most muted high five we've ever had,
is because our Minnesota Vikings
kicked the living crap out of the Houston
Texans. It was such a good game. We both preseason picked that this game would be a loss for the Vikings, and that was the impetus for spinning the wheel. That's why we're wearing socks on our hands. But I will take it because the Vikings are 3-0, man.
3-0. Who'd have thunk? Neither of us thought.
No, I had them at 1-2.
We're pretty public with what our predictions were. We both had them at 1-2, and I couldn't be happier to be wrong. How about we both do our roses and then both do our thorns? All right.
I'm giving you a thumbs up, but you can't see that.
It's just a mitten we're wearing. My hands are so warm right now.
Yeah, and my forearms are like super itchy.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely a purple punishment.
This is not comfortable.
Anyway,
and you mentioned it previously. Even with some key injuries, I can't even enunciate the number of things I'm trying to say. He could just chuck it out of bounds or whatever. I don't remember when this one happened, but there was the one little he snapped it and knew the play was busted, and he threw it down in front of him, and he was fortunate that he didn't get a grounding call.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things though, where it's like stuff like that just doesn't happen to the Vikings, and it happened in all the right ways for the Vikings in that game, which made this game fun to watch. It's made all three of these first games really fun to watch.
Yeah, if it means we have to wear socks on our hands every week, I'm here for it. Let's go. I'm sweating.
I'm itchy. I'm sweating. This is better than eating a jalapeno for me, though.
I would have been fine with a jalapeno. This is better than doing push-ups every 5 seconds. Good. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept him on the roster. But yeah, and I know he was the first kicker taken in the draft. He was like a 5th round pick, which is pretty high for kickers. But I mean, if he's the guy, if you can solidify your kicker position comfortably for who knows how long, kickers can play for 20 years if they really want to, then a 5th round pick is well worth the price, especially since sometimes you take a linebacker in the 5th round, are they even going to make the team? You got a kicker. Kicker is an important position, and as Vikings fans, we know how bad that kicking position can screw over games.
Yes. I just found a very practical purpose for socks on the hands while pouring a beer. It picks up any of the dribble. It just soaks it up, kind of like a towel. It's nice.
I have a little bit of a mustache and beard going, and I did notice that I'm wearing napkins, although I made a critical error. these are not the fuzziest socks in the world, but there's some fuzz to them. And for the last like 15 minutes, I've been fighting. There's like a hair in my mouth, and I can't get it.
No.
It's one of those. If I tried, I'm just gonna put 30 more hairs in my mouth from this.
I'll give you permission to take them off.
No,
if you need to.
no. This is a part of the purple punishments, and I'm hoping maybe I can wash the hair down or something. I don't know, and maybe it's one of my mustache hairs that like won't leave
You need
my
to
face.
crack
alone.
that final beer of yours open and get that going for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
this has been a fun purple punishment so far.
it was a fun game as well. It was fun to watch the Vikings just absolutely beat up on what is a pretty good football team. And I think that can't be understated. The fact that the Vikings have now beaten the 49ers and the Texans.
Back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks.
I think the only excuse people who are still Vikings naysayers might say is, yeah, well, that was at home both weeks. Which, fair, it is. There is such a thing as home field advantage, and we saw it, and we talked about it earlier with the multiple penalties back-to-back for the Texans, pretty much solely because the stadium was just going insane.
I wish we could have been there. It would have been awesome. Agreed. It looks to be pretty nice. So we can transition here while you carefully pour your beer with socks on your hands.
Yep.
Again, a quick reminder, just in case you kind of skipped through and you didn't watch the beginning. We're wearing socks on our hands. We don't do this all the time. This is not normal. In fact, we probably will never do this again because
Hopefully.
this hasn't been very enjoyable. But we made preseason picks. We both picked the Vikings to lose to the Texans. The Vikings, in fact, did not lose to the Texans. They beat up on the Texans. And so we spun the wheel of purple punishments, and here we are with socks on our hands. That was the punishment for the day.
Yep. Last week it was push-ups. 10 push-ups every time we said the word Vikings.
Yes.
Which was fun as well.
So this is, to me, again, still slightly better than doing 10 push-ups every time you say Vikings.
I agree.
I was sore. Like, my chest was super sore for, like, the whole week.
And I was sick, too. Like, if you listen to that episode 58, you might be able to hear it in my voice, like, oh, yeah, I was dealing with something. After the podcast awards, like, I fought. Like, last week kind of sucked. I was sick. And being a guy that doesn't do push-ups every day, having that little bit of soreness in your upper body, that just made it so much worse.
I just like to think we got a little bit stronger there.
Well, yeah, the Vikings are just they're giving us opportunities to be bigger, faster, stronger.
All right. I think for the Vikings, it comes down to two simple things. Score first and win the turnover battle. That's a 2, in case you were wondering. Score first and win the turnover battle. The statistics are overwhelmingly in favor of this Kevin O'Connell-led Vikings team. If they, it's a lot of fun.
That's just the best. We all get to have fun with this. Whatever happens the rest of the year, we're having fun right now.
We're having so much fun.
More fun than we thought we would have.
So much fun.
Hey, since we're pointing it out, all right, what are your thoughts, kind of to wrap up the like purple punishments video that we'll have come out separately from this? Was this easier, harder than you expected it would be? Is it as fun? Do you think the viewers will like it? How have you enjoyed this week's purple punishment with socks on our hands?
I still hold that it's slightly better than not being able to say Vikings, because that's literally all we talk about is the Vikings. And so to be punished by doing 10 push-ups every time you say Vikings was a little ridiculous. But we did it, and we did it in front of people we didn't know, and they didn't judge us for it. They laughed along with us, and it was fun. You still have some push-ups that you gotta...
I do. That will be in this episode. Maybe it's already been there. I don't know. I'm paying up on those 13 push-ups.
You will pay up on those for sure. It wasn't as hard to grab the mug because we have these ones with the handles, which is nice. If we had the older football mugs,
oh man,
that would have been a challenge. Yeah, I'm ready to take these off though.
Yeah, but I think we just need to embrace. We had Viking socks on. It's awesome. I think we need to do another muted high five and make sure that we get another drink out of our beer. Which maybe this is a good time. We can transition. What are your thoughts on this beer?
And of course, we'll be back next week with another episode. Hopefully, well,
did we predict?
I can't look it up right now.
Oh man,
Can you look it up?
I think I predicted a win and you predicted a loss.
I know I predicted a loss, so you predicted a win.
Yes.
So this could be, actually this will be the first week where one of us will spin the wheel and the other will not.
Yep.
So one of us will have to suffer the consequences of the purple punishments next week. If the Vikings win, then I will spin the wheel because I predicted that they would lose against the Packers. There you go. Now you got it.
All right, I got it up. Yep. I predicted a Vikings win against the Packers. You predicted a loss. That's verified here. So,
all right.
Yeah, one of us for sure is going to be spinning the wheel and doing a punishment solo. So.
Well, we both just revised our picks and said they would win.
Yeah.
I revised my pick.
Yeah, but these are the final ones, our preseason picks. So.
All right. So if the Vikings do, in fact, win next week at Lambeau Field, I will spin the wheel. If they lose for some reason, hopefully not, you're going to be the victim of the wheel of purple punishment.
That's all right. It'll happen.
All right, I want to get these darn socks off my hands. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you tune in next week, episode 60, by the way, next week.
Nice little milestone episode.
We're continuing to rack up the episodes. Yeah, but until that,
Skol.
Skol. All right, everybody. Austin is going to pay up on the 13 push-ups that he did not complete at the Iowa Podcast Award last week. All right, I'm going to count for you. You ready? Here we go.
Ready. Don't judge my form here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Nailed it.
Skol.